my sharing useful in some ways. I would say it's only sharing, not advice. So don't take it as an advice, but just really sharing my own journey to date. So today I would love to share my own mom entrepreneurship journey to give you the real picture, not what you see on the social media, because sometimes what you see in the social media may not be real. So this is my real life. Next slide, please. So just a quick agenda. So I will quickly talk through my own career journey to date, my own challenges and opportunities as a working mom, and then my top 10 thoughts on how to start and growing a business. And at the end, if you have any questions, please do feel free to ask me. Next slide, please. So just a little bit about myself. I was born in Hong Kong. I'm 38 years old and lived the first 22 years of my life in Hong Kong. And then I moved to Singapore for 6 years and then moved to London 10 years ago. So that's my life so far. So I'm from a very humble and happy family in Hong Kong. I'm the eldest daughter in my family. I have one younger sister and one younger brother. My family are still in Hong Kong. I was married to a French guy with a big family in France. So that's my family in Hong Kong, France. I studied in Hong Kong and Singapore, majored in journalism and communications, which is related to what I'm doing now, majoring in PR. So I work in Hong Kong, Singapore, London in different PR agency before. And then I set up my own company around 6 years ago. So that's very briefly about my background. Next slide. So that's my childhood with my sister and my brother and my family, and graduating in Chinese University of Hong Kong and studying in Singapore. So that's my first 22 years of happy, innocent life. Next slide, please. And then I started my career as a reporter at South China Morning Post in Hong Kong as an education reporter, and then as a financial journalist at Reuters in Singapore. So I just love English writing and I study English journalism. But then when I got my first job in a global PR agency in Hong Kong, then I thought actually PR is really interesting, that I can still write and I can talk to people. I can transfer the skill from Hong Kong to Singapore to London. So that's how I've been doing PR all my life so far. This picture was back in Singapore time when I brought a group of journalists from Malaysia, Singapore, Philippines, Vietnam to my client in New Zealand. So it was a lot of fun. And then 10 years ago, I moved to London from Singapore and I work in two different British PR agency. I was always the only Chinese PR person in a British agency, which was extremely competitive because I was competing with other British colleagues who speak English as their first language. And then on top of that, it's all about communication. So it was a good experience, 10 years experience in PR agency. Next slide, please. But then the shock came. So I was considered a high flyer in Hong Kong, Singapore, that I got promoted every 6 months and got 7 increase. And then when I first moved to London 10 years ago, I need to drop my salary 50%. I need to lower my position. And then I thought I work really hard and prove myself. But then after 1.5 years, I was made redundant by my UK PR agency. So at the time, I really don't have a concept of redundancy, because in Asia you don't really think of being fired, but then in UK just shortly 1.5 years, then I was made redundant. And at that time it was a mini crisis for me that I was around, I think, 29 years old. So I thought, am I useless? That how come people fire me here in the UK? Should I go back to Asia or Singapore when I could have a much better living and higher position? So it was a kind of my first career shock and made me think, do I want to continue to work in PR or should I do something else? Should I go back to journalism, which I loved and what I study. But then I still like PR and I still want to continue my PR career. So I took 2 months off, learned my driving, and then did my job hunt again, and then found another UK PR agency, which I've stayed for 3 years. Next slide, please. So that's the all woman. Usually, somehow, I don't know why PR always attract women. Actually, when I studied PR in school, we only have 10 guys and the rest 80 students are women. So it's not surprising the PR industry is very female dominated. So I thought I worked myself back to my level after 5 years PR agency in UK, back to the salary I should have. And then next slide, please. So that's some of the clients I work in my agency, from hotel sector, Unilever brands, consumer, property, etc. So it was good. What I like PR is that you can transfer the skill from one country to another. It still applies. Next slide, please. But then in 2014, around 6 years ago, I suddenly felt I was wasting my time, that I just went to my work and not feeling motivated. I remember I was crying to work, feeling that I'm wasting my time just doing exactly what I'm doing every day. But I don't know what to do. I just felt trapped in the position. And that's how I started my first entrepreneurship journey. Next slide, please. So in June 2014, basically, I did not know what to do. I was thinking, should I just find another PR agency job, or should I do something else? At that time, I've done PR agency for 10 years in Hong Kong, Singapore, and London. And then I was thinking, should I continue my life like this for the next 10 years? And I don't want to. And then I just reached out to people talking about my problem. And then my unofficial mentor gave me this idea. Why don't you set up your own business? Why don't you go out and find clients yourself? And then at that time, I did not have any kids. And I thought I have nothing to lose. And why not? So if I couldn't make my business successful, I could always go back to work for a company. So that's just my very simple mentality at that time to start my first business with a business partner who is also from Hong Kong, and her background is advertising and my background is PR. So I thought that is a perfect match, that we could conquer the world with both advertising and PR background to do this UK-China communications, which was still very new at that time, 6 years ago. Next slide, please. But then, so one advice is that friends are friends. Friends are not your business partners. I mean, if you have never worked together before, you cannot assume that your friends can be a good business partner, because it's not the same. So after 6 months, we end up in a divorce, very horrible, that just because our values are not the same, and because we are 50% shareholders, so it's very difficult to decide who make the final decision when you were in disagreement. So after 6 months on my first business, I decided to leave my first business and then set up my current company. Next slide, please. Yeah, so then I set up my own business. I still want to have a goal at running my own business. So I set up my second business in early 2015. Essentially, it's a UK-China PR agency. Our job is to help Western brands who want to target the China market, as well as other parts of Asia. So now it's into 6 years. I would say it's the best decision I have made so far. It's the longest job I have so far. In the past, I change job every 2 or 3 weeks, 3 years. And now I haven't changed my job for 6 years. Next slide, please. And then after 1 year of running my own business, then I gave birth to my first son. It's very much wanted baby. We have tried very long time. I married quite young at 26 years old. And I gave birth to my first boy when I was 33 years old. So parents say, "Oh, you had married for 8 years. How come you still don't have babies?" So we are very happy to have my first sons in May 2016. Now he's 4.5 years old. And then 3 years after, next slide, please. 3 years after, then I gave birth to my second boy. Again, very much wonder. My husband and I both from big families, 3 siblings, so we can't feel that more children the better. So say my husband want more, but I say 2 is enough. So I have my boys when I'm running 11K, which I will share more how I balance time and so on. Next slide, please. So that's us in the summer this year. Next slide, please. I will say on reflection, now is a good time to reflect. December time with COVID, this year has been super tough for PR because PR is always not considered as essential part of your business. And a lot of companies would cut marketing budget. So again, during tough time, it really tested your values and what you really want to do with your job or with your business. But in hindsight, I think over the past 6 years, we have achieved a lot. In our year 1, we were nominated as a new consultancy of the year by the UK Public Relations Association, which set ourselves against other PR agency in UK. When I started the company, we had no client. I just tried, and then luckily we got Burlington Arcade, which is a luxury shopping mall in Green Park, as our first client. And then we kind of attract more luxury high-end clients. And then so far, I think we have over 40 clients so far. Bigger team, because of birth, I have to say there were disruptions to grow the business, but I think it works for me because I need that flexibility to grow my children and grow my family and business at the same time. I think we have a good reputation as the go-to China PR agency here in the UK. Well, yes, I can say I earn more money now compared to 6 years ago. That is a job that I need to pay my son's nursery bills and mortgage, etc. And I do feel every day is not the same. And I've learned so much over the past 6 years. I would say my 1 year PR agency life is equal to my past 5 years, because every day I need to make different decisions, and I'm basically I don't have a boss per se, so I need to make a lot of decisions, make a lot of mistakes, and that helped me to become a more confident and self-aware person. On top of this, so busy growing 2 boys who eat as much as I do. Next slide, please. So here are some of the clients we have at 11K. Yes, just to give you some flavors: interior design, architect, property developer, luxury retail brands. So we help them to do media, digital marketing, events, partnership, etc. Next slide, please. So just some photos of our client events when we can, before COVID. So let's come to the first part. The second part, I will talk more. Next slide, please. So earlier I want to set the scene just to let you have a bit of understanding of how I come to today. It's not always smooth. I think the redundancy was a blessing in disguise that helped me to realize that PR is really what I wanted. And then when I have that moment that I was wasting my time in the PR agency world, then I talked to my mentor and gave me the opportunity to think about running my own business. Again, I never thought that I would run my own business. My mom always say that I'm too kind. I will be cheated by my clients and people easily. But then that's what I really enjoy and help me to balance my business as well as being a mom. So my sharing is based on my own personal experience. So you may agree or disagree, but I would love to share with you what I think in terms of challenges and opportunities as a working mom, if you consider to be a mom in future. Next slide, please. The good news is that I do think the challenges are actually big opportunities. I feel I've become a better person after being a mom, and I realized that there were so many untapped talents or things that I don't know that is hidden in myself until I become a mom. So to make it practical, I would say the first thing I've learned after being a mom and running my own business is that I learned to prioritize things better. In the past, I would just say yes to everything because I thought, oh, I have all the time and I can do everything. But actually now I don't have all the time. I have no time. I want to sleep. So really the key is not to prioritize your to-do list, but really actually to schedule your prioritize, to really think about what really important to you, what you cannot not to do, and what you can drop because you just cannot do everything. So yes, I've learned how to say no better and faster. So in the past, I would say yes to all meetings, but now I will think more carefully. Is it really important that I must meet in person, or can I do it over Zoom call? If it's really not useful, then just say no. You can't please everybody. And I think being a mom also makes me more empathetic and listening more, because when you are dealing with two crying children, you realize that you cannot yell back to them. They won't understand. You need to be more creative and thoughtful in your thinking. And I think that also applies. So it's still me. So I think what I learned as a mom also applied back to business, to appreciate things more, to understand that everyone has their own story and challenges. So I think that's all positive. I think before being a mom, I did not, I was a bit more selfish, that everything is about myself. But now I would be more considerate and patient with other people. Next slide, please. And I would say I actually really enjoy my work because work is a time that is my me time. I'm actually being myself, not with two boys running behind me. So I remember when I had my first son and go to work, I feel I was on holiday. For the first time, I can eat properly and not to be distracted by people. To learn to be really flexible. And what I say, happy mom really makes happy kids. To be honest, if you are not happy, your children can feel that you are not happy. It doesn't help. And even my husband say that go to work, you will be very grumpy if you stay at home for the whole day. He knows that I cannot stay at home for the whole day and say you better go to work and then come back and be happy. And then so I think don't feel guilty if you want to work or if you want to do what you want even after you have kids, because they don't need you to be perfect, but they want you to be happy. And then if you're happy, I'm sure your kids can feel that you're happy and they enjoy your time more. So it's all about balancing and not feeling that you have to give up anything just for the kid, because that won't make you happy and they won't be happy that you are not happy. Next one, please. And it's so important to seek for help. So it's me and my husband here. So we don't have our parents. We don't have like helper, like in Hong Kong, everyone have a Filipino helper. So we don't have anyone. So nursery is our best friend. So with my first son, I put him to nursery when he was 4.5 months old. For British people, it was shocking that I put my kid at such a young age. But in France, the kids go to nursery at 3 months old. So again, there's really no standard. You just do what is best for you as a family. It's you as one unit. No one cares. You do what is right for your family, what is right for you. So with the first one, I put the kid at 4.5 months old, so I can do part-time, slowly go back to work. With the second one, I put the my cleaner is my Lenny. She's amazing, and then I put her to luxury. So again, just work out your system, seek for help, including your husband. You and your husband are equal. So don't feel that you have to do everything. Use luxury, use helper, talk to people. I'm not the first one who do that. There are so many people who do this before. Your mom does that before. So seek for help if you feel you are drowning. Likewise, at work, I have a business mentor who helped me a lot to help me to grow my business. So when you are in doubt, just talk to people. I'm sure there will be people who are willing to help. If they cannot help, they will be happy to put you in touch with someone they know they can help you. I think that's absolutely key to ask for help. And after all, I think it sounds all manic and crazy, but it's just part of life. And I think we only live here once, so try to enjoy if you can, even though all of us have some down moments for sure. So the next few slides are really my own thoughts on how what you need in order to start a business and also to grow a business in the long term. I always say it's a marathon. It's not just 1 year or 2 years if you really, really want to do it. So I'm going to share my 10 thoughts. So they are not tips, but again, based on my own experience, running my own business and having a family at the same time. So next slide, please. So the first one, follow your passion is not a secret. I think during difficult time, it really tests what you like and what you don't like. Again, running a business, no one forces you to run your own business. No one forces you to work all the time. So it's really important that it's what you're passionate about, that you feel excited to do it every day, and then just do it. You don't wait, because there's never a good time to do this. So if you have that desire, I think you can try. If you can afford not to have maybe income for the first 6 months, because it does take time to build your own business and find clients. Second slide. Yeah, I say give more than you take, because at the beginning you are nobody. I mean, in the sense that it's a new business, or it's a new job. No one knows who you are. You need to show and prove what you can give to others before you take something back, either it's money or clients or referral. It applies to your job. If you are new to the company, you need to show what you can give before you can ask what you want. I think that applies to lots of people. Again, during difficult time like COVID, so we give a lot. We give our clients some free values in terms of thought leadership paper, webinars, etc., just so that the client feel they own you. And then when things are better, then they will hopefully come back to you. So I think in this world, we always want to take, but it's so important you give first before you take. Next slide. Build your networks. I think whether you run your own business or you are working, at the end, it's all about people, especially for Chinese people. It's all about who you know in the end. And I think it's so true. So invest in time to build your own networks. So for example, you're joining this amazing community. It's already a great platform to build your network. Also use LinkedIn to build your professional network. Actually, my biggest client found me on LinkedIn. I would never thought of finding them in Singapore, but they found me on LinkedIn. So you never know where your leads come from, or where your next job, or your boss spotted you on LinkedIn or somewhere. So you never know. So do invest time to build your own network physically and online, digitally. Next slide, please. Again, after build your network, you want to show that you are famous for what you are good at. So build your own reputation. So here are just some example how we build our own brand for 11K and for myself. So we publish our own thought leadership paper. I speak at different webinars. I'm quite active on LinkedIn because all my clients prospects are there. So we want to make them trust us. It sounds horrible, but then at the end of the day, it's all about trust. So you want to build a good reputation by being a speaker, by showing what you know on the right platform, which is key for your next job as well. Next slide, please. Here, I know some of you have done this public speaking Toastmaster just recently. So I'm also a very passionate Toastmaster back in Singapore time. Doing my job performance, I told my New Zealand boss, say, oh, I want to improve my English, because it was my first time to use English to communicate in an office environment when I moved to Singapore. And then my boss said, oh, why don't you join Toastmaster in Singapore? And that's how I joined it. And I found it's the best ever investment in my whole career, because as you go senior, it's all about public speaking. It's all about talking to a group of audience, whether they are your fellow staff members or your clients or right now. So in the past, I was also scared to death to speak. But then I realized public speaking is not just about public speaking. For me, it's actually personal development through public speaking. Actually, it's true, because you need to speak so well that you actually need to understand yourself better in order to speak. So I've done that in Singapore, and then I've done 4 years in London. And then I stopped when I had my babies. And I do plan to go back after my second boy is a bit older. But I would encourage everyone to join a public speaking club. Even though you are scared now, I would say it will be hugely beneficial for your career, because it's really about sales and talking in the end. Next slide, please. Yeah, shit happens, so be resilient. I think every day I have faced so many problems. It really tests your resilience. I won't say entrepreneurs. Maybe some people thought, oh, I'm not a good entrepreneur, or basically in everyday life. I think it doesn't matter what happens to you, but it's really about how you respond to the situation. With COVID, it can be a very depressing situation, but some people manage to stay happy and make use of the time and learn new skills. So I think at the end of the day, the client, your employers want to see that you can bounce back from a crisis, from a problem. So I think being resilient is important in business or job. In terms of how to build your resilience is another session. But the first tip is to build your own network with positive people. And that will help you to build your resilience. Next slide, please. Follow your heart. I remember when I just set up my business 6 years ago, I was desperate to find clients just to prove ourselves, to build our network. And I accepted really bad clients. When I say bad clients, it means they are quite dodgy. They are really not good at their job, and it actually damaged my own reputation. And sometimes your heart will tell you that it's not right to do it. So again, at work and in business, if you feel that something is not right, it's not right. You are definitely right. I think we all just have this instance. So for me as a business owner, I constantly need to make decisions. Sometimes I can just feel that it's not right to do, even though we get X number of money, or sometimes it's better to say no, because you waste your time and it's drain your energy. Next slide, please. When I say balance, I remember when I first set up my first business, I was so exhausted. Every day I want to work 16 hours per day to win as many clients as I want. At the end, after 2 months, I was already exhausted. I was already burned out. And then when I won 11K, the second business, I realized it's really a long game. It's a long marathon. So also create space for you to relax. Because it's a lifetime. It's not just for 1 year or 1 week. So especially when I have my family with me, yes, you just need to sleep. Next slide, please. This is a quote from Steve Jobs. Basically, talk about what separates successful people from non-successful people. It's all about your perseverance, meaning that just to keep going, never give up. It sounds very easy to say, I always give up. But then at the end, it really is what, for example, with COVID, I have a few peers who do what I do already gone, that they make themselves fellow. They lose all their clients. And I think the COVID actually tested who are perseverance, who stay, are the ones who actually keep pushing, keep going. And I think for your career as well, even though it's tough, if you keep doing, one day you will succeed. My final thought is that while we are so busy doing so much things every day, trying to make so many connections to achieve things, I think it's also very important to stop and reflect. So myself, every 3 months, I write a journal that I send to my family and friends, reflecting on what I've achieved and what I've learned over the past 3 months. And I've done that over the past 10 years. I think it really helped me to reflect, because sometimes, oh, actually, I've done so much this month, this quarter, or actually, I could have done this better. So, and also to have a mentor is great, who can guide you on what to do next. So I have public speaking mentor in the past, as well as now I have a business mentor, which really helped me to progress, to be on the right track. It doesn't mean I don't make mistakes, but again, it does help if you just stop a moment, think about what mistakes you have made and how can you do better next time. And that keep you going. I think that's the end of my presentation. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sally, for that heartfelt sharing with us. Certainly, I think some of the pains that you felt at the start of your of your business, and when you were doing a job you weren't really happy about, I guess we can all relate to that, and really I think there were a lot of tips about how to balance your own career and your family as well. Thanks a lot. And certainly on the public speaking side, I think we can always say how much we have benefited from public speaking, and actually we have got our own public speaking club now. So I would love to invite everybody to join us if you want. Okay, thank you, Sally. I'm sure we all have some questions or some comments. If you want the opportunity to directly talk to Sally, now is a good time. So do you want to raise your hands? Or you can just ask the question directly.
Sorry, Jessica, can you stop sharing?
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you. Yeah.
Can I ask my first question? Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Sally, that's a very wonderful speech. I would like to know more about your business. When you start to set up your business, how do you get the first client?
Yeah.
How do you do the marketing?
Yes.
After you have the client, how do you mold for the next client? Yeah.
Yes, that's yes. Yes, that is such a good question. When I was working with my PR agency in Hong Kong, Singapore, and London, I never learned how to pitch to new clients. I never need to go out and find clients. I was just serving clients. So I always think I'm not good at sales. No one taught me how to do sales. And actually, to run your own business is a sales job, to find clients, to find money into the business. So my unofficial mentor, Andy, at that time, gave me an idea to start a new business. Basically, he told me that every week you reach out to 10 people and then you try to set up 4 or 5 coffee meetings. By the end of each month, you would have connected to 40 people and have drank maybe 10 to 12 coffees. And if you cannot get one lead out of these 40 meetings, it means something wrong with you. Otherwise, you must have been able to find at least one meeting or one need. And that's how I started. So at the beginning, just really tell everyone in your network that I'm doing this now, I'm doing this now. Can I help? Do you know anyone who may be interested in talking to me? Just tell people, don't be shy. And that's how I really found my first client, Burton Arcade, who used to be an old client in my previous UK PR agency. I did not even tell that client that I was setting up a China PR agency. She heard it from 2 other people who heard that I'm doing this and then invited me to meet her. And then that's how I got Burton Arcade as my first client in my first month, 11K. So I was very lucky to have Burton Arcade as my first clients because they are a luxury shopping mall. And that helped me to find my second client quite easily. Basically, with your first client, you can be quite generous in terms of your pricing because all you want to do is to prove that you can really do a good job and then you can make money or find clients much easier after you have proved yourself with a very strong case study. And then keep doing PR, so do PR for myself, meaning that you try to be a speaker at relevant events to build your profile. And then organically, so I never pay for advertising per se, so it's all organic growth. And then my second client is a Chinese education firm. So we met at a networking event. And then, so at every networking event, I will make sure that I connect them on LinkedIn, drop them an email, check them out and see if there's any synergy to work together. If they may not be a direct client, maybe they can introduce clients to me. So it's no shortcut to success. It's all about being open-minded. Meet people, network, and then slowly you build your own clients. So all our clients right now is all through referral. People recommend us, ex-clients recommend us, people found us on LinkedIn. Yes, so there's no secret of success. So that's how I found my first client. Yeah.
I have a lot of questions, but I will pass this opportunity to others.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for answers. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions or comments?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Hello.
Yeah.
Hello, Heidi.
Hello, I'm Heidi. Yeah, can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
I have been a programmer for 10 years and now I'm thinking about change my career, but it's really hard. Just being a programmer, the coding, I have no idea what else I can do.
Yeah.
But just think about my age, I think it's time to change.
Yeah.
So I have 2 thoughts. One is about start business and the other is continue study, get a master degree or something. But no matter which one, I have no idea how to not be too clear about which one is better for me. So
Yeah.
do you have any suggestion about according to my situation, or I just arrived here like 2 months ago. So how to adapt the life and the job market here as fast as I can. Something like
Yeah. So you recently moved from China to London?
Yeah, I just arrived here 2 months ago, and I never been lived here or studied here before.
Yes. So what made you move to London in the first instance, if I may ask?
My boyfriend is here, so that's why.
Yes. And where were you working before?
I was working in Shanghai as a programmer.
I see. And I think, to be honest, I took 2 years to like London. I hated London in my first 2 years. I was made redundant. I got whooping cough. My salary is cut half. I hated London. So 2 months is very early stage. So I think, I mean, I cannot make decisions for you. You came here with because of your boyfriend, I think give yourself more time. I think you come at a very strange time with the COVID situation, with the weather. You come at a very cold time. So I can feel, probably you feel quite depressing here at the start. But London is huge. It does take time to feel the city. It takes time to know what you want and to see if you really like it or not. So I would say maybe give yourself a bit more time to try things. In terms of your career, I probably wouldn't suggest you to change right now, just because you just change city, which is already a big transition. But of course, you will always want to think about your career in the long term. But I think at this stage, maybe just be kind yourself. Just let's see what happens. You will meet lots of amazing friends here who will share their own experience with you in London. As for your career, I don't know too much about programming, but I think at the end of the day, if you want to build a family with your boyfriend, so you need to consider that as well. So where do you want to work? Do you want to have family? Do you need income? So I think there's a lot of things to consider. But at this point, I think for the next 6 months, just for you to enjoy London or to adapt to the life. And then as you know more people, then you will know the job markets here better. You understand if there are any opportunities for you that you don't know. But I think it's a very good for you to start thinking now. That is my immediate thought. I'm sure other people will have other sharing.
Okay. By the way, my sister has a PR agency company in Shanghai too.
Good.
But mostly between America and China and Germany and China. So
I see.
If maybe in the future, if you have some like connection or some needs from mainly from Shanghai, Jiangsu, and the Zhejiang province. So,
perfect. Yes, I would love to meet your sister. Yes, we do have work with partners in China. So yeah, I have one colleague in Shanghai, and then we have one agency partner in Hong Kong. Yeah, so I would love to.
Perfect. Yeah, so if you don't mind, I might could I add your WeChat?
Yes, please. Yes, yes.
Okay,
that's how things work here. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, we can talk more. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So my part is finished. We can give some time to others.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was brilliant. Cool. Glad we can actually connect our members via our event. That's brilliant. We're adding value here.
Yeah.
Okay. Any more questions?
Can I ask a quick question?
Of course.
Yes. Hello, Yan.
Hi, Sally. Good to see you. Thank you very much for sharing. Really, really interesting. I think to most of people who never run their own business before, I think from being an employee to being an owner of their own business is very daunting. I just wondered, how do you overcome that fear? And also, where did you get the confidence to start your own business, especially in that circumstances when you came to London and you got made redundant? I guess you probably felt very down and your confidence probably got knocked as well. Yes. I'm very envious. I think you're great. You have the courage to make that leap. But yeah, just wondered, where did you get the strength and the braveness to go for it?
Yes. So my answer may be disappointing in the sense that it's opposite. I know what I really don't like I know what I don't want to do. As a result, I try to have a goal at setting my own business. So I was just so bored and demotivated in my own company to the point I was just looking around what are the options. And one option is to try to find my own business. So at that time, I just try. It's not really because I'm brave. I said, if it doesn't work, I can go back to find a job. So that's my mentality at the time. I think looking back, I think everything is just to try to have a goal. If you don't try, you never know. And then later you regret. If it doesn't work, it's okay. It's all about learning. I think if you can afford to try, just try. There's no perfect timing. At that time, I was also trying to have babies, and it did not come. And then I said, okay, there's no best time to have baby or best time to set my business. Okay, just do it and then see what happens. Yeah,
exactly. I totally agree. There's never the perfect timing to have babies. I think now I learned today is not the perfect timing to start your own business. Yeah, thank you. That's really interesting. And also, I guess the mentality must be very different. Being an employee and being your own kind of boss. What do you think is the key difference? How do you switch that mentality to tell yourself, now I'm responsible, I'm doing things for myself? What do you think the mentality had to be, what would be the right mentality to run your own business?
Yeah, I think that is such a good question. In the past, I always have my manager, I always have a boss to tell me what to do, and I'm very obedient. I just do what I am told to do. And then with running your own business is opposite. You are in control. No one tell you what to do. If you have a bad day, no one feel bad for you. You basically, for me, is basically my mentality is that no one pushed me, no one asked me to do this, and I chose to do this, and therefore, of course, then I have to be responsible of my own decision, because no one asked me to do it. I can easily just find a job who have a good life. So I think it's just this mentality that I chose this life, and therefore, of course, I should bear this, whether it's good or bad. And likewise, if I win clients, then I feel 100% rewarded, because it's really for myself. In the past, it's I don't feel that, because it's not really me who do this. I think running my own business have definitely made me become a better or more confident person, because it constantly push and test my values. Like if I meet these awful clients or people, do I just take their money and still work for them? Again, it's up to me if I want to help them. And my family say no, so I decline clients who I think they are not worth helping. And I only work with good people, because I only have so little time. I don't work with people I don't like. So I think my mentality has become more clear. Like in the past, I just take whatever I'm told to do, but now I will actually say no and decide what I want to do, because I chose to do this. Yeah.
And if I may, thank you. If I may, the last question, what is the most challenging aspect of running your own business?
Yeah, for me, it's delegation. So I'm not micromanaging per se, but because sometimes maybe my company is my third baby, that I care so much that I don't delegate too often. Like in the past, my boss would say, hire one salary equal to 5 people. But then when I run my own business, I cannot be like that. I will be burned out so easily. I think to learn how to delegate, to build your team is the most challenging for me. So sometimes I say, oh, I can just spend 5 minutes to do this myself, rather than spending 1 hour to train one person and they make all the mistakes and then I still correct it. But actually, that is what I need to go through in order to build a team, to delegate things that that I should be delegating. So I think learning to delegate, not trying to do everything myself, is the most challenging part for me.
Thank you so much. That's really inspiring. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey Sally, I've got a question for you. So in terms of the PR agencies, maybe describe to us in terms of one of the most impressive cases which you have worked on behalf of your clients. What did you do and why you feel so proud of it? So I think for us benefit is to understand a bit more in terms of what you guys do and what is that your job's involved. And then I think that will help.
Yeah, that is a super Good question.
Thank you.
Yes, so yeah, a lot of people doesn't know what is PR. What do you actually do for your clients? The most successful client or case we have done so far is for a client that have hired us for 4 years already. So we are 6 years old, and this client have worked with us for 4 years. So pay us a monthly fee, renew our contract every year, and just renew our contract despite COVID. So I think this is a very strong client testimonial that the client trusts us in order to pay us and continue with us for 4 years already. So they are a luxury interior design client. Based in Singapore, and they have offices in London and China. So basically the client's job is to do interior design for their private clients, who are usually the top Forbes China 10 people. So they are maybe CEO of the biggest property developer in China, the richest person in Russia, the most wealthy family in India. So the client found us on LinkedIn 4 years ago. And then I pitched to them. I met the client in London. I met the client in Hong Kong. And then we win the business. So what we do, our end goal is to build the client as the thought leader, as the go-to expert in his own industry, in the luxury lifestyle space in China. So how we do it is to really use the face of the CEO to build his reputation, meaning in essence, so we set him very good media interviews with Forbes China, talk about his inspiration, how he become the top interior designer in his own industry. We set up a very high level interview with like China property finance magazines. We get him to speak at relevant conference where his clients are. We run his own WeChat account, so helping him to be visible on WeChat among his network and his clients. We run private events in London, China with different partners, such as Private Membership Club in Guangzhou, whereby the membership club, the members need to pay 20,000 RMB per year, and then a monthly fee. So it's kind of filtered. There is a high level of individuals for our clients to pitch the business to. We also help him to write press releases, media. Basically, the end goal is to make him become really, when people think about a high-end interior designer, he is the person that springs to the mind, that he's seen as the expert by the top CEOs, by the wealthy people in China. So I manage the client in terms of relations, but I don't do the work itself. So my colleagues, so I have one account manager here in London, one managing partner in Shanghai, and then 1 and 2 freelancers who help us with this job. So they have been a good client and our biggest client for the past 4 years. And the client did say that they did receive sales as a result of jobs, and also help him to win business. So I guess while PR doesn't help to convert sales per se, but by making you as a good brand become known among your target audience, then it makes the sales job come easy. And that's why the clients do trust PR and still keep us for 4 years now. I hope it answers your question.
Thank you. And if you compare yourself 11 to some of the traditional big advertising and PR, so what are the advantage which you have that they don't have? And also, am I right to say that you do have resources to get access to media exposure?
Yes, definitely. For media, we do a lot of media work in China, in Hong Kong, and also in UK. So what set us apart? So there are a lot of digital marketing agencies in UK already. I never say we are a digital marketing agency, even though we do WeChat, Weibo, Little Weibo for our client, but it's part of the whole campaign. And it's always PR-led, meaning it's always about what are your messaging. Who are your target audience? Then we decide the channels, whether it's digital, offline, media, whatever, as long as it reach the target audience effectively. So that set us apart from other digital marketing agencies who just focus on digital because they only do digital, but it's not because it's strategic. While we are not biased and holistic in that sense, and I think that's what clients buy us. We do have a lot of big clients like Burlington Arcade who use us. I guess because I'm the face of the company, and people is, and PR is so people. It's all about services. We are not selling a physical product. It's all about services. It's all about people. And I think sometimes the client like us because we are all quite senior in the sense that even though we are a small team, all of us have really solid experience, and the client know that I won't disappear after winning them. While for other bigger agencies, they know that the people who pitch for the business may not be the one who actually serve them. And I think if the client like me, and then usually that's how it works, that we already have the chemistry, that they feel that they can trust me, trust my team to deliver what we promise. So that's why I think we have been able to attract some big clients in Montenegro, in Norway, in UK, and also very much through recommendations. It's recommended by other people that they already trusted. So it helped me to win the job. We never enter tender or pitches per se, because I know that we are not there. We are not like big agency who try to pitch against other big agencies. Usually we already have the connections with the clients in some way, and then it's just a matter of us to talk about the price and then try to get it sealed. So that's how it was for me so far. Yeah.
So have you thought about scaling it up? And then if so, who are your next step target clients?
To scale up.
Yeah.
Yes, I think you asked a very good question again. So now I've done 2 boys, so I feel it's the time to do this more aggressively. So for the past 5 years, it's like maternity leave, give birth, and then now I'm done. So I've been working with my mentor over the past 2 years to exactly how to scale up, not to rely on myself. And therefore, we do have a small team here now. So next year, I've quite an aggressive plan in terms of I've just made a huge Excel sheet, like number of leads, number of proposals, number of clients per week, per month, and therefore per quarter, and what is the sales target. So again, there's no secret. I think it's all about numbers. It's almost like all other businesses. What is your sales funnel? So you need more leads on the top, and then therefore more inquiries, more proposal requests, and then clients. But having said that, we also need to be creative and innovative with COVID. In the past, we do a lot of offline events, and now we can't do. So what else we can do to replace that services? And also have strategic partnerships. So I will definitely meet Hedi's sister in Shanghai. So also working with people who are not competitor, but help us to make a bigger offer, and therefore ask for higher price, and also be very strategic to actually not to accept small clients as well, because still I only have so much time, my team only has so much time. Go for the big one, not the small one. That's the long-term strategy for the business.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, I was on mute. So, Sally, what is the story behind the name 11K?
Yes, I know it's very confusing. A lot of people ask, is it K11 or do you charge 11,000 per month? Anyway, so it's for Western clients. So the inspiration is that I was thinking the name of my company at 3 a.m. at the time when I have no kids yet. So then I Google what is the distance between UK and different parts of Asia, Beijing, Hong Kong, and Singapore, and the answer is 11,000 km. So that's the name. So our vision is to bridge the gap of between UK and different parts of Asia through communications, and therefore we call ourselves 11K. And at the time, if you go to events, 11K is always on the top because it starts with numbers and then A, B, C, D. So usually we are right on top of the list. But the main reason is that's what we do to beat the 11,000 km distance through the power of communications.
Fantastic. That's a great meaning.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other thoughts, comments, or questions? I think we probably have time for one more. No? Well, Sally is in our WeChat group anyway. So if we do want to have further chats with Sally, you can always just reach out to her in the WeChat group. Okay.
Yeah,
so
thank you.
No any other business, no any other questions. I think that concludes tonight's talk. So if you could just turn on your video, and I want to extend a big thank you to Sally for spending over an hour to talk to us about her journey and her tips, and of course spending extra hours to prepare such a wonderful presentation. So thank you very, very much for your time, and thanks to everybody else for joining tonight's talk, and have a nice weekend. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
See you
you.
next time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.